In 1957, amid the wreckage of post-war Europe, a West German company called Chemie Grunenthal introduced Contergan, the brand name for thalidomide, as a gentle sedative and anti-nausea remedy. It was marketed as relief for pregnant women and for exhausted physicians across the Federal Republic. Medical optimism, aggressive pharmaceutical marketing, and relatively lax drug oversight meant doctors, midwives, and expectant mothers accepted the pill with little scrutiny. Prescriptions spread from clinics in Aachen, Cologne, and Hamburg into small towns across the country, while regulators in Bonn and other national agencies relied on limited safety data. The stakes were immediate. Without closer scrutiny, countless unborn children would be born with stunted, malformed limbs. From Aachen to Hamburg, pediatricians and obstetricians began seeing a sudden rise in newborns with phocomelia between 1959 and 1961. Babies arrived with gruesome, severely shortened or missing limbs, absent forearms, flipper-like hands, and stunted legs. As individual tragedies multiplied, surgeons and physiotherapists recognized the same striking pattern. Case histories converged. Many mothers had taken Contergan, a thalidomide tablet produced by the German company Chemie Grunenthal, often during the first trimester to ease nausea. Physicians logged clusters, compared x-rays and notes, and midwives described the same nightmare deliveries in Bonn and Cologne. Families faced immediate, wrenching loss, urgent surgeries, and a growing chorus of anguished mothers demanding answers. Subscribe. Maybe the answers will show up in the comments. By 1961, Dr. Widukind Lenz and other clinicians had assembled clinical evidence and pushed for investigation, bringing the crisis into the public and regulatory spotlight. Hospitals and labs raced to document cases. In 1961, a string of clinicians' case reports turned into a scientific manhunt. Australian obstetrician William McBride flagged a cluster of babies born with severe limb defects, and German pediatrician Widukind Lenz compiled dozens of identical cases in Hamburg and Bonn. Both doctors linked the defects to maternal use of Contergan during the critical first trimester. Epidemiologists compared pregnancy histories, timing, and exposure, and the mounting statistical evidence pointed squarely at thalidomide. By November 1961, public pressure peaked, and Chemie Grunenthal withdrew Contergan from the West German market. The company and some local health officials initially downplayed the link, denied culpability, and allowed exports of a drug that had already reached at least 46 countries, widening the devastating epidemic. Newspapers and anguished mothers staged a raw public outcry, while hospitals, lawyers, and journalists demanded answers, escalating a confrontation between cold, growing evidence and corporate defensiveness and setting the stage for legal and regulatory reckoning. By late 1961 and into January 1962, decisive evidence finally shattered the denials. Epidemiologists found the same timing of exposure maternal ingestion of Contergan during the first trimester and the same grotesque pattern of phocomelia, absent radii and ulnas, and flipper-like hands in hundreds of infants. Widukind Lenz, William McBride, and hospital teams compiled consistent birth histories and x-rays, while independent laboratories produced animal data that contradicted Grunenthal's earlier inadequate tests. Investigative reporters in Bonn and Munich obtained leaked company memos and regulatory correspondence showing patchy preclinical screening, export approvals, and delays by the health ministry in Bonn. Mothers staged raw protests, lawyers threatened lawsuits, and international regulators scrutinized exports to at least 46 countries. By January 1962, the clinical, laboratory, and documentary evidence had pushed the scandal to a breaking point, demanding accountability and reparations. In 1960, FDA reviewer Frances Oldham Kelsey refused to approve thalidomide for the United States. Working at the FDA in Washington, D.C., she demanded hard proof the drug would not cause birth defects, and her skeptical hold blocked American distribution. As mounting evidence of horrific birth defects in Europe, phocomelia, flipper-like hands, and absent radii and ulnas became impossible to ignore, Chemie Grunenthal withdrew the drug sold as Contergan from the West German market in November 1961. Kelsey's insistence helped prevent a comparable mutilating epidemic in the United States and sparked international outrage that forced regulators worldwide to confront catastrophic failures and move toward reform. After those grotesque, mutilating exposures, regulators finally moved. In the United States, the Kefauver-Harris Amendments of 1962 tightened requirements for drug approval and for evidence of safety, and other nations expanded post-marketing surveillance. Survivors waged long battles for compensation and recognition, exposing corporate negligence and regulatory failures. The crisis rewired ethics and science around precaution, transparency, and patient safety. A stark, haunting reminder that medicine's promise can turn monstrous without relentless oversight.